Ger, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Tell me how you got into the fitness industry.
I suppose we could jump ahead and go to how it got to like this point. I was between 2012 and started 2016. I was over and back to the States.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of rugby coaching, Vermont Youth Rugby Association, and was it about 2014 or 15? I saw Harvard were looking for people to work on sponsorship to build them a new rugby stadium for their women's team.
Right, okay.
So I thought, do you know what? I'll try to get that. I was trying to break into America, mostly for coaching.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a stepping stone. Gets you into a place. I was always trying to get the coaching side of it. Went to a meeting, somehow talked my way into an assistant coaching job with Harvard ladies. So I was there for their 15 season, and that kind of started. I did a little bit of S&C stuff with them. It was mostly rugby coaching.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I had to go home because of visas. And I was like, how will I get back there? Kept looking for different jobs, and I was up for big college jobs against like 50-year-old men.
How long of a visa did you get for over in the States?
I did 3 months.
3 months.
3 months,
Yeah.
4 months.
And it's Harvard's in Boston, isn't it?
Harvard's in Boston,
Yeah.
So I was there for their rugby season. I came home, and the plan was to go back. Visas kind of stopped me from going back to Harvard, so I was looking at other colleges.
Yeah.
And it got to the point then where I was like, it just wasn't happening. And I was dating a girl from the States at the time, and I somehow ended up in a health and safety course. So this is what's funny. So I was like, I'm going to do a health and safety course. It'll give me options, and I can always go back.
Oh, so you could get? Is this so you could get work in other areas?
Work in anything.
Just so you could get a visa.
Get over there, get a visa, and then I could start looking. It's always easy to find a job when you're there.
Yeah.
And that relationship ended. And me being a stubborn...
Was she American?
She was American, yeah. And the stubborn git I am, I decided, you know what, I'm going to do the health and safety course. Prove her wrong. Never been so miserable for a year in my life.
So you were there,
I did,
here?
Like I was doing it in Cork.
Yeah.
So I was up and down to Cork, I was working construction. I got back into rugby at home. Ended up starting 1A AIL with Ger Horan for a bit. And I did the first year of health and safety, and I was like, this is absolutely miserable.
Yeah,
there's no enjoyment, and it just kind of clicked to me. I was like, why don't I do an S&C course, and I could add that to the coaching, and that would give you another thing when you go over. You're not just a rugby coach, you can do everything for them. I started coaching a couple of the lads, girlfriends and wives and stuff inside the gym. I did a few, like I was doing house calls for moms. I was there holding toddlers while they're going like, come on, more press ups there, now we're back there. Yeah, having a great old time. And before I was leaving the country again, I was thinking about Japan, going anywhere I could go. I was like, I can coach anyone doing this. And it also went back to all the crap that I went through, fitness and all that stuff. I was like, you don't want anyone to have to do any of that. So I kind of just started doing more in the gym, started doing more of those house calls. Was it 2019? We were getting kicked out of our house in Limerick City. Not that we didn't do anything, but yeah, we were just getting kicked out. And I came home one day, and my mate and my other housemate were sitting there, and they just looked at me and they're like, we don't want you to live with us. And I was like, wow, that's sound. And he just goes, no, your dad's got the house, he's got a shed out the back, you could convert it and do the gym. I'd been applying for, I'd say, did I go for maybe 10 gym interviews?
Yeah.
Got none of them. And I only got one interview because I knew the hotel owner.
Yeah.
So he told your man, I've taken clients from 2 of the gyms that didn't give me a job.
The gym that you have, the setup you have out the back for all your clients is unbelievable.
Yeah. And I started with one room. I bought an old bench.
Because I've been watching you do progressively improve this facility for like the last 3-4 years.
Like it has come on a long way from like one little room, from one small room. And I bought like a rack of kettlebells off some guy who was leaving the country.
Yeah.
I bought 2 benches. I bought the whole thing for 150 quid. I got like, it was kettlebells from 4 kilos up to 32. I was like, this is robbery. That started my gym. Bits and bobs of equipment, going from there. Then eventually did up the other room. Then convinced my old man, I was like, John, it's COVID. I was like, can't do anything inside. So Astro outside, roofed that, put in a new Astro outside the last room. So like I've got...
That's so funny that you that no gym would give you a job, so you made your own gym with the clients.
I like now to reference, it was probably my own fault. I remember one of the interviews, your man asked me would I do a spinning class, and I was like, I don't want to, but yeah, I will.
Well, coming from a strength and conditioning background,
I was like, yeah, look, if you need me to do it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, do you have the cert? And I was like, for what?
Cycling a bike.
And he was like, teach people how to spin. And I was like, sit in the bike and turn a brake on and off. I don't think that much of a cert now. And I think that was the nail in the coffin. Not getting that job.
Who's this lad?
But like, my friend Paddy will always say he's the reason I have the gym. And kind of yes, he kind of gave me that kick to go ask my dad, and best thing ever, man.
Yeah.
It's like I said to someone the other day, like even with the gym now, you know how business is, and like we're always working. We're here on bloody Sunday, like Sunday morning.
And I was itching for a few points last night, and
I was like,
fuck, I'm Ger in the morning.
If I wasn't tired from the swim, I would have been out for a lot more last night. But it's I've never been so stressed and happy at the same time.
Yeah.
Being your own boss is a lot of work.
Being
being
busier than ever, but not feeling like work.
Yeah, like it feels like when I was back in the States, I was doing 13-hour, 15-hour days when I was coaching over there. Loved it.
Yeah.
Well, didn't bother me at all. I'd be there, like even on your day off, you're doing like 4 hours of stats on games and stuff, and it was nice. So it feels exactly like that now. COVID kind of hit it about. I think the gym was open 2 months. Yeah. 2 months and COVID hit, and I was like, I put all my eggs into one basket, and now I can't even open my gym. And I was so I feel like I'm only starting.
Yeah.
Like I'm into year 3 now. Year 3 now at the gym.
Well, it seems very busy at the moment. Anyway, of what I've seen.
Good, yeah. Like even like as I was saying to you, getting everyone into groups.
Yeah.
And like obviously, less time for me in the gym. You make a bit more money, but it's cheaper for them.
And more atmosphere for them as well.
More atmosphere. Like they all get to talk. They all text each other. They're all hanging out all the time. I think some of the girls are on like doggy dates and stuff like that. So like.
Well, what's a doggy date? Oh, yeah, sorry.
They're not going dogging out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
None of that, no.
A doggy style, is it?
Meeting up outside the gym, and that's what I wanted to build, was like a
little
community.
Yeah.
And like a dare.
You can't do that with one-to-one PT, as important as it is to teach people the fundamentals.
And then like a lot of the people I have won't go to a big public gym.
Yeah.
Like when I was on holidays for 2 weeks, they all had their plans, they were all keen to do it, and one of the girls texted me one day and she's like, I didn't realise how nice it is to come to your gym.
Yeah, rather than go to the public one,
She's like, public, it's awful. It's a war. One of the girls was like, it's a war zone. Steal everything.
17-year-olds hanging out of the lap pull down, upside down.
It was January, I went into a public gym in Galway to show one of the girls a few things. Yeah. And I started to get a bit of anxiety. I was outside there and I was like, right, what do we tell people? Go down to a corner, find a rack or something, you can do 4 exercises there and stay there. Yeah. I watched a bunch of 17, 18-year-olds on a bench for about 25-30 minutes. Yeah. The cheers, now I'm telling you, to motivate people, they're great, but the loudness coming from the corner off an 80-kilo bench was driving me bloody nuts. And I was like, this is not the place for me. Yeah. I was like, if I had a public gym, I think I'd make it 23s and up. Yeah, it's a huge thing in commercial gyms. It's just a load of 17-year-olds. They go to the gym in groups of 5 and 6, and then they all just hang around the one machine. They're not even like 6 of them, not one of them doing one exercise.
And like imagine you're an anxious mum who's just got into the gym for the first time, and you want to go over your lap pull down machine. There's 5 or 6 young lads just crowding around it.
What I love now with like some of the girls I have, they just get stuck in. Yeah. If they see the lads aren't doing anything, they go over like right.
But you've coached them so they have that like confidence to do.
Yeah, like seeing one of the girls walking over to like the big dumbbell rack section, and like she can do, is it a 45 kilo dumbbell goblet squat, but she can't pick it up. Yeah. She can't take it off the rack, she can't move it, so like she finds the biggest lad inside the gym, she's like,
pass me
will you do the head tilt? And I say this to her, I'm just like, smile at them and tilt your head because they'd be delighted to move stuff in. And I was like, so they're all having good times now, but like it's great for that side of it, building that. The amount of women I have that now are hooked.
Yeah, with resistance heavyweights,
and like it's a great thing to see. Like I think I only have 4 lads, 4 male clients now, and it's kind of weird, to be perfectly honest.
Especially coming from a sports background.
Come from I grew up playing rugby from a young age, boys clubs, all that, playing playing senior GA when I was 16. Yeah. Loads of different sports teams. Started with mostly lads. Yeah. When I was coaching, and then the mums that couldn't go to the gyms, I was doing those house calls. Yeah. And all of a sudden, then it just think you trained one lady, she passed on some info, and it just kept going and going and going, and quite enjoy coaching them.
Yeah.
I think it's less the ego's left at the door.
Yeah.
When you're coaching ladies, which is fun, even though like there's that small, I want to lift heavier than you. Like I've one group session, there's a girl and a guy in it, and the two of them are competing in hip thrust at the moment, and I like setting them up in the same room to do it at the same time, because they have cuts out of each other, giving each other shit and everything. It's brilliant. It's absolutely hilarious to laugh at.
Do you think like in hindsight you're happy that you've gone down that route of training the general public and teaching them how to, you know, resistance training and lift heavy, rather than going down the sports side of things and the coaching element and the strength and condition of team sports?
Yeah. You can help more people like myself from that period where I had don't get me wrong, I was that kid with the special jersey. Yeah,
tell me a little bit about that for people that don't know.
Your background. I wasn't exactly a big lad up until about 10 or 11. I was I wasn't overly small, but I was on the smaller side then. And I think like my dad's side of the family kind of started taking over, started to chunk out a bit. And I'd say from about 12, 13, you ended up being the chunky one on the team. Now, it didn't mean you were the unfittest on the team or you were the weakest player on the team. Like, I was pretty handy at sports, so that was grand. But you were the one that had the special jersey. You know, you were always that one. So like, I've even seen like photos when I look back when I was younger, and you're looking at all these jerseys, and then you see the one that's like an old school jersey. You can tell that it's like, oh yeah, you have the special one. We've run out of jerseys. There was always some excuse, rather than just going, yeah, you're a bit big, like. You know, that's it. Like, I even do it now playing rugby with some of the lads. You'd be walking into the dressing room, and I'm like, whatever the biggest size is, I want it. I was like, don't care if it's too big. I want to be comfortable. You know, that's kind of. But like, I was swimming when I was younger. There's a bang of privilege off this story now. Before I get into it, we went on holidays for 2 weeks in Italy. About 2 weeks before some swimming camp, and my dad, because my mother can't swim, my dad loves swimming, so they got us into it. And I had a pool, a beach down the road. I was training every day, and my dad had me eating certain things. I was made take a break during the middle of the day to sit down and do nothing. It was a training camp run by my old man for 2 weeks. We drove from Dublin Airport down to Limerick to go to this swimming camp. We ended up winning. I won my races, we won our relay, but the photo at the end is the one that I always makes me laugh. It's like, you have 4, like maybe 10-year-old Irish lads, pasty white Speedos. There's me, brown, tanned, with the kind of like tight shorts, not the Speedos, you know, ones you get in Europe and stuff. Like, they brought a ringer in for the thing. And I think that was probably the last memory I have feeling comfortable with my body.
Yeah, comfortable with your kit off.
You know, like, it's sad to, like, you know, like, when I look back at it now and I actually think about it, like, that was 10 years old. You know, you're thinking about that stuff. I was always a chunky lad. Like, I think a girl said to me one time, lads don't experience the same body image stuff as women do, and I was like, well, that's bollocks. Because I was like, I probably fat shame more than any woman out there, and it's like. And
as a lad, you're expected to just take it as a piss take anyway.
Yeah, like, I think I only ever snapped with someone once, and it was inside the school, and I just kind of up against the wall, lost it for a moment. And everyone was like, "You alright?" And I was like, "You just shouldn't say it."
Yeah.
So like,
sake of hearing it.
Yeah, it's that body positivity argument that people talk about. It's not about carrying extra weight or carrying a bit of fat. Body positivity isn't going, "Oh, that's great." It's that, don't be a dickhead about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to point. I know I have a belly, but there's plenty of people that don't have a belly that can't do a 2.5k swim.
That's why I always talk about fitness over fatness. Like, focus on, like, because everyone's going to come in all different shapes and sizes because of their genetic disposal, right? Yeah. But like, all right, is that person fit? You know, because that's going to be the best indication of their health markers. Yeah. You know, so is that person fit? Can that person like do a deadlift? Can that person, you know, run? Can that person swim? Can
squat ass to grass?
Exactly.
Simple things like, you know, be able to reach around. Like, I always joke, I'm like, the goal now is to be able to wipe my own arse when I'm 90. Like, if I can't do that, you might as well just get rid of me.
Take me out the back of you.
But it is funny, like, how we all deal with body. Like, I have a friend who's a guy who's on the smaller side. Yeah. Like, tipping 55 to 60 kilos, and like his big thing is, well, one, genetics, they're a smaller family. He gets stressed, he finds it hard to put on weight. And myself and my brother have often joked if we could have their metabolism for a month, we could be gods. Shredded. But I remember coming out of the water one time with him at the beach in Galway, and he was like, I'll move over there. And I was like, why? And he was like, I look so fucking small beside you. And I'm like, and I'm there going, there's bits of me hanging out everywhere. I'm like, I feel it. So I'd say everyone has it. No matter what level you are. Like, I have people watching my stuff on Instagram and they're like, oh, it's so easy for you on camera. I changed my t-shirt before we started this. Do you know, like, I'll be a sweaty mess by the time this is done. I think the last time we did a podcast and we did a webinar for your clients. I had flip-flops on and shorts and a t-shirt and afterwards I was just like, I had to go outside, like even doing the lives, you know, I went through that period of doing them, and I used to walk out into the field outside the gym after, sit there for 10-15 minutes and be like, oh my god, the stress of doing that. People just go, oh, it's fine, it's grand. Like, I talk a lot, I'm loud and stuff, but it comes from insecurities. It comes from loads and loads of years and years of insecurities, and that's why it's easier to coach people. I know what it's like to feel like shit. I know what it's like to even be around your closest of friends and not want to take your clothes off. So I think I remember going on a camping trip with the lads one time. A couple of small group now, like ride or die, the old like oldest friends relationships I had, and even like going in for a swim in the river at the start, I was like,
you didn't want to.
I was uncomfortable as hell, man, and I was like, it made me feel bad because it was like, these are my mates. The one people that won't say anything, even if they think they should, they'd hold back anyway. And I think, what was it? Not a pride thing. I think I treaded water for about 35 minutes, drinking a can and smoking fags. So, and like I'm laughing there, I was about 20-something stone, and I'm there like just having a great time, weightless. That's probably why I love the sea. It's the, like, I'm strong, but I think the sea and water is the place I feel the strongest. You're weightless. You're in
your comfort zone.
And like the whole cold water swimming, I'm not going to start talking about the benefits of that because look, bollocks.
You enjoy it.
For me, it's anxiety. It's headspace. If you go into freezing cold water in December, you can't think about what Sally down the road is saying about you, or you know what's going on at work because you're worried about losing your balls. You know that's what's happening inside there. All
the thoughts in your head, all the negative thoughts, completely
gone. Like I think some of the best moments I've had of like peacefulness in my mind, like a 6:30 in the morning swim in April after like scraping ice off the windscreen. You're sitting in there waiting for the sun to come up just above the trees, and you're getting out of the water, your toes are numb. Like you're like, this, I'm just going to take me ages to get warm. It never felt so good. And like, I get people, like some people are like, oh, that sounds awful. You won't get it till you do it. And I'm not saying do cold water swimming. Do anything.
Whatever it is.
If you think going for a hike is going to be crap, wait till you get to the top. No matter how out of breath you are, how sweaty you are, how red your skin looks, sitting there and looking at you've accomplished something. Same with the gym. Don't like going to the gym every day. I took 5 weeks off up until a week and a half ago. Mostly because of the injury, mostly because I was focusing on work, getting stuff done, but it's not everyone's motivated. And what reminded me was the first day I went back into the gym session. I stopped myself from going in and killing myself off, which is the habit that everyone does. Going in and like
overtrying
have to go for it and get it done now. So happy again. I knew like after 5 weeks of like feeling off, like I was definitely depression. That's what it was. My missus is living abroad until the end of June. Since January there's a touch of that. Work is stressful. You throw in like no sleep. You know, I completely forgot how much movement helps. Like the dog is the one thing that kept me going because you have to walk the dog. Even so unless it's lashing rain, because he won't go out in the rain. Not a chance. But like that was my bit of movement that kept me sane. My clients, like big love for my clients. It's like, you know, you hear everyone say like, you know, all PTs are saying that. I have been on the other side of the door of my gym being like, fuck this. I want today to be done. I want to go to bed and I want to just start again tomorrow. And you walk in and after about 5 minutes of laughing and joking, then you're like,
you feel great again.
It's great.
Isn't it funny because it's like when your mood is low like that, those things that you just spoke about, they're the last things you want to do, but they're precisely the things that are going to get you through the other end of it.
Yeah, I've look, we've all been there. I've spent my day on the couch. My day on the couch, and you get there and you're like, you're eating you're eating whatever's there. You're not happy you're eating it. You know you need to move, but you can't move. And then it gets to a point in the day where you do it anyway. I've had days where I put off the gym because I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And then you're rushing a 55, maybe 40-minute session before clients are like, I actually want to do this now.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's going to be fun all the time. If it was fun and easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah.
It'd be handy to do.
Yeah, there would be no value in it if it was easy all the
No
time.
chance. And it's why I was fine. Like when I remember one of my clients was like, I don't want arms like yours, and I was like, either do I. This is just how I'm going to pick myself up off the floor. There's nothing I can do about that. But I remember saying to her, I was afterwards, I was like, all jokes aside, I was like, do you know how long it'll take? And even then, it's not going to happen. We see all these trainers out there now. They promote the gym, and look, fair play all the work they do and everything like that, and how they look, great, good for them. But promoting changing how people's bodies look and perform off 6 days a week training, 2 hours a day, sometimes twice a day, fasting, on performance enhancers. Yeah. We know the ones, and the thing is, that's what you're fighting against, which makes the job tough.
Do you find that that's one of the things that you have to kind of uncoach or unlearn with your clients, is them thinking that, all right, if I lift these heavy weights, because we just spoke about how you're encouraging them to lift as heavy as they can and do it with say form and stuff like that. Yeah. Is that a big barrier that when they get into heavy lifting with you, that they feel that they're gonna turn into Arnie?
Yeah. I'm gonna go in there, have a protein shake, do a food curls, and all of a sudden I'm gonna be the Hulk. I had one client.
I wish that would happen for me after 6 years of training, and I still can't bulk.
I'm the opposite. I'm 12 years of different diets, and I'm come on, I just want to be a little bit leaner. So you gotta balance it, and that's the biggest thing. Is it takes time. I know one client story kind of fits the fitness myths of stuff of lifting heavy weights makes you bulky, and won't use names or anything, but I think at one point it was her husband made something about her getting a little bit stocky. Now this woman, you can't use the word stocky. Yeah. But I'm stocky. This is what thickness is. It's hanging over the edge of chairs going, am I going to break this thing if I keep moving? That's what stocky is. But I remember my first thing was I should have smacked him. Yeah. It was her husband said that to you. I was if I ever said that to a girl I was with, I wouldn't expect her to be hanging around. But she asked would we change the program and stuff, to make it work towards,
what she didn't want to be.
She didn't want to get better. So I just said yes. Yeah. I just said yes. Rather than trying to argue and do all that, I changed nothing. Yeah. I changed you brought in a few 4 sets of 12 to make her feel like it's doing that. You made a little bit more move, added in some core exercises that were weighted. They're not making you do sit-ups unless you're holding a plate or a dumbbell or something. It's not happening. The difference for her was she moved from 1-to-1 to a group earlier in the morning. Mm-hmm. She was consistently there twice a week. She also improved her habits at home. She changed how she was eating, the drinks every night, the drink one night a week. She was walking more. So I said it to her one day. I was like, your progress isn't because we've changed your style of training. It's because what you're doing outside of here. Yeah, it's not the 12 sets of training. You're with me 2 hours a week. How often do you see bodybuilders, think of all Arnie and all those lads lived in a gym for a day. Lived in a gym for a day non-stop, and you think that's what's, they were also using stuff. I was everyone has this idea that if you go hard enough in the gym like that, you're going to bulk out. It's why the post-gym pump shot in the mirror is sought after, because about a half an hour later you're it's gone. What happened to you? You're so nice a while ago. I find it with my forearms, I'm always gone small. So it's all those myths. It's good. It's a good and a bad thing. You like dispelling them. You like going through them, but it's awfully annoying that someone will spend a year, 3 months, or a couple of weeks with another coach or just looking on the internet and they find all this crap.
And then they're gone again, yeah.
And then, you know, they come to you and they're like, oh, I don't know about doing that. And I'm like, I think I said to one lady, I was like, well, you're arguing against science. I was like, not me. I was like, this is my theories law.
Don't get mad at me.
I was like,
get mad at energy balance.
I'm just here figuring out how to add 20 plus 20 equals 60 on a bar. That's, you know, that's the stuff I do. I was like, this is from doctors, this is from everyone else, and it's just the industry. Yeah. It's unmarshalled. Yeah. Like how many? Like, well, I know you're an online coach, and I'm dipping in and out of that. But like everyone is an online.
Yeah, it's not regulated at all. Anyone can turn around tomorrow and say.
And the S&C course I did, like it was pretty good, but like there was stuff I learned outside of it. Like I think I remember they demonstrated a hip thrust, one. And you know me, I'm a big fan of doing a hip thrust. Yeah. I remember looking at it, and while they were doing it in the demo in the class, I was like, that's not right. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know exactly what's wrong with it. And I was like, when I went home straight away, I went on to Brett Contreras' page, and I was like, that's your one-stop shop for hip thrust stuff, all glute stuff. So I looked at it, and I was like, no, it's wrong. The man was there, swinging the head back, and I'm like, same little thing.
And this was the instructor who was teaching trainers how to perform. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, you know, like little stuff like that, and like even you know this from any little courses, like nobody needs to know this exercise is working their latissimus dorsi. Yeah. You need to just know your lat. That's what you
point at the muscle.
Point at them, like you see this part of your shoulder, it's hitting this bit, like that. Like general population, even athletes, you're not going to talk to a pro athlete like that because they won't understand, they won't care. They just want to know what's wrong, how to fix it, and what we'll do. Same with Gen Pop.
Yeah, make it as simple as possible.
Simple as hell, and then you start progressing. Like I have one girl now, I would probably hire as a PT for my business when I come to the point of hiring another coach. Now, a bit of it is her mindset, how she's come along as she's been doing her training and stuff. Like she'd make a great coach. Yeah, super empathetic.
And what better way for like someone to work on your business than someone who has been in your business?
Yeah, you know, and she's promoted my business a load. Like she's a little animal. Like. Yeah. So like you're going from that girl's gone from a 30 kilo deadlift with crap form to she can rep out a couple of 100 kilo deadlifts. So and she's what, like 60 kilos? Yeah. It's big. Like it's a big thing. Like, and I think the fitness industry is slightly taken over by women. Which it's not a bad thing. Like it changes how gyms are run. Yeah. I think gyms are a nicer place to go to now. They're cleaner. That's and like man, I have a pet peeve. I think my biggest pet peeve in my gym is keeping it clean. Yeah. You hoover the floor, you turn around, there's a piece of something there. Like black just doesn't work. It just drives you nuts. But like it's nice to see people grow. I know how long it took me to get through a lot of stuff. Yeah. So to see to go past the, cutting carbs for fat loss, lifting weights makes you bulky, creatine is a drug, all those little things. But until the industry's marshalled a little bit more,
you're still gonna get.
Like as Owen Kremen, PT out of Cork, he said to me one day, he was like, well sure, if people knew all these things, we wouldn't have a job. And I was like, actually, Joe, you're right. I was like, maybe we need to keep it as unmarshalled for the next while. But like, it's that kind of stuff. Is everyone has the same bad habits when it comes to, like we say, lifting techniques. Yeah. Everyone has the same fitness myths. Yeah. It's all the same. Yeah. I've done them.
Tell me a little bit about that. So, you obviously have a history of kind of going down that fad diet culture route because you were trying to lose as much weight as possible. When were you at your heaviest and what were you, and what were the things that you tried to implement that were mistakes that you coach clients out of now?
I'd say just before I kind of blew up, I was still I was in school playing rugby and I was pretty good then. I was taking fat burners. I was the only person that could leave a classroom to go to a toilet without having to ask, because you had to, about 7 to 9 times a day. So that's kind of where it started, was the fact that I was told food not to eat.
Why were you taking fat burners? Did someone tell you, or did you just look that online?
I did that a little bit separately myself, because you were told to drop weight. And it wasn't, this was the mistake. It shouldn't have been, you need to drop a stone. It should be, you need to be able to run for 80 minutes, not 65. Yeah. that's what should
fitness over fatness.
Fitness over fatness, because like look at some of the pro athletes. Like pro athletes, they look a certain way.
Yeah.
Not all of them are shredded and lean, and some of them are absolute animals. Especially out in the rugby field, you see those 100%. Big boys getting around 65 minutes. That's what should have been done. Yeah. We didn't understand calories then. I used to do a diary for a coach, a food diary, which we do with people now, but he didn't go through things. He was like, it wasn't like, you have a chicken stuffing sambo. I would say to someone, don't cut out your chicken stuffing sambo, maybe make it a chicken and bacon one. Yeah. Maybe have a piece of fruit with it. Yeah. Get your Coke Zero or something like that.
Add in rather than take away, and like turning it from a higher carb, lower protein to lower carb, higher protein sample. Like a simple same meal, just structured differently.
Little tweaks, fill yourself up with the extra little bit. Like have a small bar of chocolate, have your piece of fruit. Yeah. Balance the whole lot. They didn't teach us that. So my thing was, right, my dad sent fat burners down to a cousin in a lab down in Cork to make sure they were all right. And like, same crap that's been peddled. It's vitamin C, dose of caffeine, and whatever they decide is the main ingredient. Like I think one I saw there last year was milk thistle. I was like, so right, whatever purple random flower they can find outside, like, oh, this will be. And then
market it and charge a fortune for.
I think Talgo was the most recent company. It was like a massage therapist was selling them in a day, and I was like, I was nice. I just said to her, I was like, look, that product there, that one product amongst all, that's a fat burner, and I know this from taking them for years. I know, and I was like,
they don't work.
You know, I was like, it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck.
Yeah.
And all she said to me was like, I've been studying nutrition for years, and when you hear that statement, you know it doesn't matter what you say,
they're not going to
it's done. So I just ignored it. But like, that's only last year. That product's just still being sold, and it's detox teas. That's what that was.
That's her ego getting her on her way. She's saying that, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, especially then some chunky lad is telling her you shouldn't be selling detox powders and tea bags to different people. But like, that's kind of where I started. 17, 18. Went to college in Cork. I bust my shoulder around maybe towards the end of first year, in and around there. And that then led to no sports, going out all the time, and party lifestyle, and I blew up. I think I hit 23.5 stone, so you're talking about 149 kilos. And like, it's grand to tell people 23.5 stone, but like, I'm 115 now, but if I'm still wide, so I'm wide now. I got down to 82 at one point when I was in the States. I think we talked about this before. I was under eating with my girlfriend. I was in the middle of the night going down to the fridge like Gollum. Squat down, looking, waiting to see if someone's coming around, seeing what you could eat, and running out of the kitchen again to go back up to bed. So that was the other side of it.
Secret eating.
All I did was I started moving a little bit more. That was the first bit. Was just instead of like, I just started going out for walks, started doing stuff. My biggest vice was Club Orange. You used to call it Golden Heroin. Man. You get those share size bottles. There was no glass, just a bottle. So why would you bother getting? I remember someone was like, "Would you not get a glass?" I'm like, "To have to wash the glass." I'm like, or to have to keep getting up to keep pouring. It's easier to just pile a load of ice into it and just keep, or keep drinking it out of the bottle. So like little changes, but still like, you didn't know what you were doing. There was lots of periods of under eating and excessive cardio. And then
that obviously had a negative impact in terms of
I got skinny fat.
I
was 85 kilos when I left the States at one point, and I came home and I went to the gym with my brother, and I couldn't lift 50 kilos. So and I was just like,
what happened there?
What happened there? So then I think I went around the other way, and then I think I was on like, it was before I did Rosa Tralee in 2017 escort, and I was like, I'm going to be in a suit, so I need to lean down. The best thing I ever did, and the worst thing I ever did leading up to it, I had 1,200 calorie days when I wasn't training. I trained 6 days a week. There was days I was rest days, I got bored, I'd go to the gym. I ended up getting bulimia nervosa. So it's like involuntary bulimia, but it was like, obviously it's psychological. It's not. It wasn't a physical thing. I think, was I out with some of the lads at a carvery, like veg, meat, gravy, bit of mash, chips, nothing mad. I remember in the middle of it feeling
awful.
Yeah.
Super ill. Like the touch of the meat sweats, but like in a bad way. And I went to the Jacks saying I need to go to the bathroom. Got violently ill. That was the first time I remember it kicking in. And like, it's mad that like a good dinner, like what we would consider a healthy Sunday roast kind of idea, that triggered me getting sick in a Jacks. But I could eat chocolate and jellies at 1 o'clock in the morning, feeling miserable. Hate, like not like you were eating them to eat them. That was it. You could have eaten anything else. But then I was like, it got to a point where that stuff you could keep down. So you were just eating bits and bobs of everything else.
Your relationship with food was all over the place
horrible,
at that point.
Absolutely horrible.
That's a very common characteristic with someone who has no kind of background in how to tackle this. That they do exactly what you did in terms of they undereat, they overtrain, and then they kind of demonise food and be like, oh, I can't have that. But then they end up secretly eating in the middle of the night because they're absolutely starved of food. And
I remember like when I went to the Rose of Tralee, I think the biggest win, myself and my brother high-fived each other, and like I look back at it and I'm like, whoa, stupid. Getting a suit off the rack in Zara was a win for anyone in my family, especially on my dad's side. We're all like this. So like I remember joking, I was like, right, that's it. I can fit into a suit like everyone. I've made it now. And everyone there commenting like how great you look and stuff like that. I was under-eating, overtraining, fasting.
Not healthy at all.
I had like involuntary bulimia. I was numbing myself with booze, women, partying, anything you could do. I was fucking miserable. I was absolutely miserable. But like, as I say, a smile will hide everything. And like that's the thing, is if you keep it, and like I actually struggle not to smile, which is probably a reason I get in trouble quite a lot. I was like, why I have squinty little eyes. But like I was at my lowest. At my absolute lowest. And I went to Rose of Tralee, I did the 2 weeks there, absolute madness, had way too much fun. A suit gave you a license, a suit and a badge gave you a license to do anything down in Tralee for the weekend. And I remember coming back, and I think that 2 week break, obviously because what I was doing was unsustainable, blew up again. A little bit, but like blew up in a bad.
You had this period of over restriction, and then that was compensated by then.
And up until Rosary, there was no improvement in my performance in the gym, or like movement at all.
It wasn't really a focus even.
Just the same. You just kept doing, like, you'd be there like 8 to 12 weeks doing the same weights, and you're like, I can't. You'd be there struggling sometimes, and you're just like, oh, what's going on? And then eventually I eventually figured it out. I was doing it all wrong. The goal was like, everyone wants calorie deficits everywhere. Look, and if we're, without like driving people nuts, it is your only way to get fat loss. That's it. But everyone goes, let's cut food, rather than go out for a walk, go out and do a hike, do something extra inside in the gym, or go to the gym. That'd be one thing. Everyone's like, I haven't tracked properly in 2 years. Stayed the same weight. I've leaned out but thickened up. Performance in the gym has gone up, and
you're focusing on the healthy behaviours.
I'm focused on performance and like habits, like water, like even like trucking through that. I have an awful sweet tooth. Got it from my old man. So like, as I was saying to you before, cutting out processed sugar and stuff like that to help with my sleep. I think I did it for, was it the 2 weeks I went to Spain in April? Like, she's living the Mediterranean lifestyle, so fruit, veg, like there's fruit and veg shops every corner. I haven't seen a fruit and veg shop in Ireland since I was probably about 12, 13, which makes sense for when I started thickening up. Everything went to crap.
Shows how your environment plays such a big role as well, doesn't it?
It does, and I spent 2 weeks with her, and I wasn't eating sweets. I was eating like, you'd have your, like, we started doing like pineapple dipped in a bit of like salted caramel, chocolate kind of thing. Stuff like that. More fruit, more veg. Now, obviously, step count was through the roof. You're also sweating buckets the entire time. I lost 3 kilos on holidays. Eating donuts, drinking beers, wine. Now, I didn't overdo it the entire time, but I didn't track anything.
No.
If someone put something in front of me,
it wouldn't be a great holiday if you're. No,
like I think there was like one point someone brought out a giant Milka bar, and I was like, give me some of that. And then I was like, I've eaten a bit, and then like I was like, I know I'll be fine. And they turned and was like, do you want a piece? I'm like, yeah, grand. Like, I can perform a lot better now, being 25 kilos 25 kilos heavier than I was at Rosa Tralee, mentally happier.
Well, that's probably a big turning point, that you have created the awareness and acceptance that, you know, you perform better a little bit heavier, and then it's not all about being your, you know, tiniest or leanest or underweight, basically.
And what I'll tell people is, like, I still have aesthetic goals. I still want to lean out, but compromising physical and mental health to do it is done now. I'm not going to do that anymore.
And that's a big mistake people make when they pursue weight loss, is that they actually compromise their mental health and their physical health for it.
It's the first things to go, and they wonder why you can't keep it going, because you're miserable.
Yeah.
You're not enjoying what you're doing. Like, you'll do this as well. If a client says they don't feel like going to the gym, I might just go for a walk. So straight away, do it. Like, what is it? I was only thinking about this the other day. Everything my clients do outside the gym, Pilates, yoga, hikes, swimming, walks, you know, meditation, they're all those different bits. I'm like, that's all part of it. Like, it's not all just the gym.
Yeah, it's not all calories.
No, it's not all calories. It's not all lifting weights.
Yeah.
Like, I would go for a walk if I think it's going to be more beneficial for my head than lifting a bunch of weights is going to be for how my body might feel or look. It's two different things.
And that's a huge part of it as well, because if you, let's say, go for that walk and your mood's improved, well, that's probably going to set you up for the rest of the week to easier for you to implement them healthy behaviours and actions.
End up doing a gym session when I come home after it. After saying, I'm not going to do one, going to go walk the dog and I'm going to chill out, and then you come back and you're like, all right, let's go in and shift some tin. Like, it's the thing is, exercise is tough. Like, even like that high rock stuff stuff you've been doing the last while. I think I saw one of your workouts you were doing with other Carl. Was it the
pushing cars,
20 deadlifts, 1k run, and like part of it was like, I said to one of the lads, like, I hope Carl doesn't, like, I hope we're not doing a workout like that. Or something. After, I was like, I could do the deadlifts. I was like, I'll be kicking and screaming doing the run after a while, and then my deadlifts
we'd have to show you into the pond
after.
I'd
be naked running around the place trying to cool down, trying to get that done. But it's the idea is, like, my missus has come into the gym and watched me doing Bulgarian split squats with a smile on my face. And anyone that's been in the gym knows Bulgarians are awful. Yeah. But there's something lovely about pushing yourself. Like the swim yesterday wasn't easy. No. I hadn't trained for swimming in 6 months. I'm 115 kilos. I'm not built for long distance swimming or running, like my shape was, but I'm strong in the water. And it's like, I could have easily gone, no, let's not do it. I could have told Owen, let's just wait until the ones in the summer. We'll do something in Portlaoise, and then I'll come up to Carl then the next day. And I was like, right, well, what would have happened is you'd end up having a few drinks, you'd eat a load of food, you'd have accomplished nothing for the day. Yeah. And you'd be sitting on your hole most of the evening, and then you just feel like crap waking up on Sunday. Yeah. Like, I felt after the swim last night like I'd played a rugby game. Yeah. I was there sitting on the couch and I was like, oh my God. I was like, and then I think Owen turned to me and was like, this is what your mid-30s is.
Your body's into.
And I was like, not to mind that, man. I'll be grand tomorrow. I'll be fine.
Do you find that even like, okay, stopping yourself from talking yourself out of the swim and stuff like that, like that has something that's come over time from you going on this journey of self-development for yourself, and it was probably easier for you to back out of things when you were younger, maybe because of.
Like, you know what, it was everyone knew I loved swimming when I was younger and stuff like that. So when you go camping trips beside a beach and I never went into the water, like I remember one of my friends said, he's like, he knew there was something going on. And
you were embarrassed to?
I was embarrassed to take my clothes off against, you know, who'd be walking around, who might see you, different stuff like that. Like, it's funny, like I'm a fan of the budgies now, the old Speedo, and it's like, I'm not exactly built for a Speedo either, but like I wouldn't have worn that when I was at, like, you know, my smallest and leanest for Rosa Tralee.
But isn't that important that you actually wear for the sake that, you know what, I'm going to wear this to prove to myself that, you know, I can accept who I am and my body and not let it prevent me from doing these things.
That's it. And like, as I said to my friend one day, he's like, geez, they don't leave anything to the imagination. I was like, either do a pair of shorts. Yeah. I was like, they're just a little bit longer. Like, I'm like, these shorts, geez, like I need to get bigger shorts. These Gymshark ones are cutting up. But like, that's the thing is, you will waste a lot of years of your life and a lot of happy memories by not doing things because you think someone else is going to say something or what they mightn't even say anything.
It's
what
usually
they might think.
It's usually yourself though, isn't it?
We are the biggest dickheads to ourselves. Some of the stuff I've said to myself over the years, if someone else said that to me, I would have laid them out.
Yeah.
Like, and like I say that to people, I'm like, we are horrible to ourselves. Like, nobody comes up to you in the middle of the street and starts grabbing at you. Like, I'm bigger than you, Ker, but I bet if I went over, I could grab a chunk of you. Like, so you can grab a chunk. We can grab a chunk of anywhere. But
all
like,
the boomers.
And like even like when I was in Spain there, only in April, and I was like going to the beach for the first day, and everyone's fucking tanned. And like, the most countries with that kind of weather, everyone's a little bit leaner, generally.
Yeah, because they're moving more. They usually have better behaviours.
And I remember, what did I say to one of the lads? Like, I was less concerned about my size more than the fact that I was still pasty white when I went. And I was like, and I tanned pretty well, but I was just like, I remember like, I'm not as tanned as I thought I was when I come to Spain. So
but it's you being up in your head about how you look.
Yeah.
And like, a big thing is getting out of your head and just going and enjoying yourself.
And don't get me wrong, you still have it. You still have it every day. Like, I'm not going to say that, like, I was fine on the beach in Spain. I remember walking into the water and I was like, all right, yeah. So you get that little bit uncomfortable. But, like,
But how do you improve that? How do you improve that, like, quiet the voices and actually not let it prevent you from doing these things?
The voices I've given, that's your inner troll. And I tell everyone, like, this is I only did this with a girl the other day. Find a name. Find a name. So mine's Frank. Yeah, Frank. Frank is a dirty
Frank's a wanker.
Frank's a wanker, dirty little fucker who lives under a bridge. We hate Frank.
He's a prick.
But Frank is there. And there's positives to Frank. You got to fight Frank every day.
Yeah.
And like, I will fall into that trap. You know how the fitness industry is, man. It's all skin, lycra, and like I think the thickness is coming into it now. Like, we're starting to come along a little bit more, which is great. It's like it's a lot nicer environment for us. But like, every day, like, I'm probably worried less about how my body looks. Like, I only feel bad about how my body might look when I'm doing nothing. I'm not training, and then I remind myself, well, you're only puffy and bloated because you ate last night like a dickhead. You haven't trained in 5 days. You didn't sleep well. You're not drinking water. And it's the kind of thing is, I shouldn't be upset with how I look when I'm doing nothing. And it's not a you don't want it hard enough, because that's crap. Like, everybody wants it, but it takes time. Yeah. I've been doing this for a long time, and I think only in the last 2 years I have it right. Yeah. I have it, like, and I still have way more work to do. Like, my goal last year was pull-ups. I got them, and then I couldn't lift. Was it 2 years ago? I couldn't lift my back over 150 kilos on a deadlift, and I was like, I'd be crippled for weeks after. Sorted that, and I was like, I want my 200 kilo deadlift back. Got that. Pull-ups went to crap. So it's balancing everything, and people have this idea that if you just do a bit of work, it'll come on just straight away. It could take you years. Yeah. It could take years, but you have to remember, you're doing this till the day you die. Yeah. You're not doing, and this is why 6 week and 8 week shreds work, because everyone thinks in 6 weeks it's an end date. I'm like, you got to do this for. I won't be.
What
lifting,
about the end day?
I won't be lifting 200 kilos when I'm well. Who knows? If I am, great. If I was lifting 200 kilos when I was 70, delighted. Yeah. But if I keep trying to lift and run and do everything I can now, by the time I'm 70, I'm going to be in a lot better position than some of the older generation we have now. Yeah.
If you don't use it, you'll lose it.
Yeah, and like my mom has been talking about coming back to the gym with me for a couple of months. She always jokes we can do TikTok videos and stuff. And I was like, I don't think the world is ready for our relationship on a camera, so we'll murder each other inside the gym.
This is something I want to touch on with you as well, because obviously you do a lot of social media work as well. Do you think that has had a positive or a negative impact on your overall body image? Because obviously social media, they can be ruthless as well. I have my own Franks, but they're very real, and they're people. Carl, you're a short ass. What are you doing telling me what to do? Look at you, you're so skinny.
I think
you can get a lot of.
You get loads. Yeah. But that's, look, man. And the thing is, if you hold on to the fact that someone that says something negative towards you is either a dickhead or a dickhead and horribly insecure. Yeah. That's it.
Probably both, yeah.
Do you know, probably both, or like they have no empathy whatsoever, and like, you know, that's another.
I always go onto their pages, and their pages is they don't have a profile picture.
Oh yeah.
And
no profile picture, no post.
No
they
posts.
don't no nothing. I think I put up one post. Was it before Christmas? Some reel or something like that, and it was talking about coaching people or whatever, and like the reel did well, and unfortunately when the reel does well, it brings all those people, because
the more traction, the more
the more people to see it, more dickheads are coming out.
Yeah.
And I think one guy was like, you probably should lose some more weight before you train people, and I was like, right, yeah, Grant. I went onto his page like you do, and I was like looking, and I was like, and I don't like body shaming different people, but when they come at you, I think it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm coming back.
So like I was there, you skinny fuck. I was like, don't mind you. I was like, I lift you for my warm up, like. I think then there was another few was like, oh, like you shouldn't coach people. I think my missus got more annoyed. Like she said it to me. She was like, oh, I'm getting ready to message them. I was like, boy. Yeah. I was like, those lads are not doing well.
You can't put your energy. It's difficult. I'm still learning not to do it, but like I'll get it as well. It's like you shouldn't be PTing anyone. Look at you, you're the size and stuff like that. And then I'm onto their page and I'm like, right, what can I use here to destroy this person? And then I'm like, no, I can't be wasting my energy on this after work.
My one is always like, someone give this guy a hug. That's general.
It's probably the best way to do it.
And like I will say, like my last 2 years, the fact, like I will say I've come on a lot more in the last 2 years. It's mental. Like good relationship at the moment. I'm happy. Work is busy, stressful, but it's good. Yeah. You know, it's good that I'd prefer to be this stressed because I know it's working. Yeah. Like my biggest thing is streamlining my business and getting it all working efficiently. That's what the problem is. It's not that I can't do it. Yeah. Which is what, like, we talk about imposter syndrome and different stuff like that. I think I spent the first 4 days of my holidays in Spain thinking my business was going to implode. And the people who were happy for me to go on holidays were my clients. Yeah, exactly. They see
You're
how tired I was. Yeah. Like, don't and even like I was talking to this psychologist just a couple of days. She works with the business mentorship I do with Strong Collective. Yeah. And she was like, I can see that you're burning out. And I was like, see it now? I was like, it's been going for a while. It's been going since they closed the doors of COVID, and someone said, you can't have your grant because the business isn't open, but you can't open your business to get your grant because of a worldwide pandemic. So I'm just like, ugh. Yeah. So like years of that, but then like, first couple of days, like my missus there, like, stop working or we'll designate time to work. And I'm like, getting on edge because I'm not working all the time. Like even like I brought my notebooks with me for this weekend, and like I looked at them this morning when I was packing my bag. I was like, "What the fuck did I bring these?" No, and ridiculous. Like, you know, I don't need to do anything. I was like, "I'll see you all Monday." Yeah, and I was like, "You'd be crying." Like even the online people, I'm like, "I'll talk to you Monday. It'll be fine."
It's like a client who goes away for a week on holidays and thinks that they're going to lose all their progress. In terms of weight loss. You're going to have to come in and get a belt of an air blower, get the cobwebs off. Like that's about it. But like you don't lose it. It didn't take you a week to build it, so you're not going to lose it in a week. 100%. Just like when people are like, oh, I want to do this in 6 months, but you've been 6 years of building towards being at this point. And like I always tell people, I'm like, take your time with it. Building habits. You don't go attacking people with everything. Like you could just give people a long big list of stuff and like, do all this and you'll get there. Give up all this and you might get there in 5-6 months. And I don't think people realise the amount of things you have to give up to hurry it up. Yeah. It's why you have bodybuilders in gyms and stuff who don't go out socialising, who bring lunch boxes with them when they meet people at restaurants and stuff like if you want to do that, and I've done it, you can, and you're going to be miserable. Yeah. You're going to be miserable. Like it's for them, they can keep it going because it's a different. It's what they enjoy. It's
an addiction they enjoy. Yeah. You know, it's structured. Like, and for some people, it just doesn't. I was doing the whole cauliflower rice, everything like that, rice cakes with salmon and stuff like that. Now, the way I was doing it was to survive 1,400 calorie days while eating lots of food. Like,
it was
nutrient-wise,
for you,
health-wise, it was good. Performance and fueling and all that stuff, no, it was like rubbish, you know, and like that, and that's what everyone does. Everyone wants to kill themselves off as quickly as possible.
And that's kind of the big point about you have to kind of train the person and understand what they actually want out of life.
Yeah.
And then have their, like, if someone wants that bodybuilder life, that's absolutely fine. You know, and they if that makes them happy to do that and base their whole life around it, that's fine. Probably not the type of clients that we work with, someone who wants to have that social health as well.
And like I'd say we spend more time getting people to slow down.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
play the long game.
Having a client, like 4 sessions in a gym is the max I leave a client to. Max. And I always tell them, like, even the ones that get to 4 and they get to a point, I'm like, let's restructure your sessions rather than adding a section, another session. I was like, you don't need to be in there 5 days a week. I was like, pro athletes take more breaks than gen pop gym goers, which is madness.
Crazy,
I was like, one person gets paid a load of money to perform, you get paid nothing. And you still think you should be doing it this way.
And by doing it that way as well, by trying to add in, you're taking away something else from your life, whether that's spending time with your family, whether that's spending time with your friends, whether that's going out and enjoying a meal out, whatever it is. So the more you put in, the more you're taking away as well. So you have to understand what is worth sacrificing and what's not.
Yeah, and like you do lose, like I even found, like when I was at my height of my, I suppose, gym bro, fasting and all that crap, like you did miss a lot of things. Like even like at one point when I was living in Dublin, like the lads would be going off to do something on a Wednesday night and you'd be like, no, I probably shouldn't do that. Yeah. And because
you have this obsession that's not healthy.
And what happened then is like you did your over restrictions Sunday to Thursday, Friday, and then you went out on Friday and you just went
wild.
Cut loose, and then like because you cut loose, then you're like, right, well I can't eat anything tomorrow.
Then the guilt and the shame comes in.
Yeah, and then you're so fucking hungry then by like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night to just eat anything. Yeah. And then you've ruined, like, you know, it's torturing yourself. That's what it should, like, and that's what it comes to, is everyone starts trying to torture themselves to try to be happier. You shouldn't be trying to torture yourself.
No.
Like, your training that you're doing, someone's training I do, it's tough, but we enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's to add to your life,
it's
not to take away.
Now, not every day you come in with a smile on your face, like, right, let's just get this done. Like that's the way it should be. But like people should be looking at this more of a, rather than like 6 months, look at it 30 years. Yeah. If you did 30 years of just tipping along, showing up, taking care of business, balancing out your Monday to Sunday rather than going gung-ho 3 days and then letting loose the other days, you get there quicker.
Yeah, 100%.
I've got further in 2 years than I did in 5 years before trying to do shit.
Yeah, because you're trying to do everything in 2 weeks.
Trying to do everything 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks for 5 years and get
like,
nowhere.
You don't have like walking the dog, going for a walk on yourself, cooking yourself food, cleaning your house, doing your work, you know, day to day. Once you start adding up that list and you say, I have to do all of that every day, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. There's days I walk into my house and I look at it and I'm like, Jesus, I was like, I could burn this place to the ground and start again. Like, the gym's clean, but the house then would be like an absolute nightmare. And you're just sitting there like, well, I have to spend time doing this, which takes time out of this. Whereas if you just keep tipping along on everything, and I'm like, I find it funny, like saying this is what my old man used to say, which like we were talking about ADHD earlier and like how I could do about 20 tasks on my time. Yeah. It's my time. Who knows when they'll get done? They'll get done. Yeah. But who knows it? And he'll always say, just pick one, tip along. Yeah. Go to the other, tip along. And now I'm starting to get old. Yeah. All those little bits of advice
that are working.
Yeah, and you know, it's that joke that the older generation say, youth is wasted on the young. Yeah. It is. Yeah. Like if I knew half the stuff I knew now back when I was 20, I wouldn't be a coach now. Perfectly honest. I probably would have gone down the rugby route, probably with a bigger dickhead. Like, you know, I'm kind of nice. I'm a lovable dickhead. Is that?
Well, you know what? It's you've made all them mistakes, and it makes you a better coach for it. Yeah. Ger, this has been unbelievable. The time's after flying by. Can I leave you with one question before we wrap up? So, what's something that you used to believe about coaching clients that you've changed your mind on?
That everybody wants to get killed off or trained the same way. I have some people that come to me and like, you're not trying to murder them, like, you know, like before I was like, but they want they want to be pushed on, and I enjoy it because they can take it, you know, they and like it's twice a week, you know, twice a week, and they do hammer themselves in there, but like they're making good progress. I have other people who want to. I have one lady who does a lot of gardening outside, polytunnels, the whole shebang. She's now there taking the 40 kilo bags of fertilizer throwing them over her shoulder, walking around. She's doing her own thing. Like, that's what I found. One of the ladies, she couldn't start the lawnmower on her own without her husband or her dad. After 6 weeks of strength training, she could do it on her own, and that made her happy. Not the fact that she can do, like, this woman can do 20 kilo goblet curtsy lunges, and I'm just like, geez, fair play to you. All she cared about was doing that, starting a lawnmower. So like, those are the difference between certain people. I want to coach myself a certain way. That's changed. I want to bring in more running again. I want to do the swimming. I want to do the cycling. Whereas before I would have been just weights, and you'd be like, oh, no cardio. But like,
and we get into a habit as PTs and as coaches of trying to train everyone the way we train.
Mini me's.
Yeah.
Mini me's, and like, that's what I've noticed. Like, some people, they just want better movement.
Yeah.
It's like we said, you want to be able to wipe your own arse when you're older, and that's what they want to be able to do, is just be able to move a bit better.
If anyone wanted to inquire with you about coaching, where would they go to find you?
Lift and Laugh Fitness. Across all social media. If you type me into Google, I'll come up straight away. You can message me on any of them. The phone, you know yourself, the phone's glued to you. I'll find it all social medias, Facebook, Instagram, the whole lot. I am on Twitter, but like, geez, no. I try to keep my free speech off that as much as possible.
Ger, we'll leave links to all your business pages below. But listen, I appreciate you coming down.
No, man, thank you very much. Yeah, pleasure to be here.